Hello.
Hello.
Hold on one second. I got stuff to do. I got people. I gotta interview somebody else after you.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna cut your time in 10 because I have like a schedule and you know, like an hour long. Right?
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna get right to it. Um, you obviously looked at the requirements for the form.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you can't do for the requirements?
Nope.
So you can meet all the times.
Yep.
And how long have you been playing? Let's say Scout, because you said you played Pocket.
I have played every sixes class very regularly. I've been playing in UGC sixes for 5 seasons now. I think this will be my sixth. I
Have
played
you?
plat last season.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Because I got some other Plat people trying out, but like, how long have you played sixes like Scout?
Specifically scout. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't play only scout for any stretch of time. It was more like I play every class for depending on what game I play. For like matches, I'd play demo and pocket, but for most pugs or a lot of scrims, we'd switch it up. It depends. I'd play a lot of classes, and I play a lot of scout for other things too. And I play a lot of hit scan in general. But
So you'd say you played for Pugs. You didn't play for an actual team on the class.
for my team, no. For some TFCL teams, I played scout specifically, but that doesn't really count as a real team, I guess.
Well, our roster is going in the TFCL, so it's technically a league, so you can count as an experience.
Massive meme, but okay.
I wouldn't say that because they're adding money into it. I think next season, so it's a free league with money prize pool.
Mm,
So I
mm.
think the UGC people will be drawn more towards there. But
You're right.
yeah, because the creator is really nice. Like he would have,
I know. I'm friends with him.
yeah. But I'm gonna get into some of these questions. Some pretty basic questions. You know, you can pull them really up from any website. But let's start with them. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Just TF2 or personal life, which one you want to talk about.
All right. I play TF2 a shit ton. I have like 150 hours the past 2 weeks. I constantly play. I constantly try to get better. I MG at least once a day, if not, for hours a day. My whole name of the game is DM, pretty much. Game sense, of course, is important, but it comes secondary in my opinion because I love improving my aim. Uh, so I constantly grind that as much as I can.
How long would you say you play TF2 for a day?
A day? Ooh, hours.
Like, how
Hours.
many hours would you say?
Probably 5 to 8.
Hmm. That's dedication. That's me. Yeah.
Very much enjoy TF2, yeah. And I have tons of time to do it, so why not do it? I stay up till
Yeah.
like 6 or 7 in the morning playing usually.
Yeah, that's respectable. I've done stuff like that before. I've played for 4 years, so I'm still gonna stay with the game. What would you say is your greatest strength, like as scout? What would you say your greatest strength in the classes, or just as a player?
My DM, obviously. That's what I grind. My DM is pretty on point, I would say.
Like, when you mean grind, you mean DM or MG
Both.
or both?
I would
Like,
say MGE is a big part of what makes up DM, but obviously it's not the whole thing. But
yeah.
uh, both. I grind both.
All right. What would you say is one of your greatest weaknesses?
My greatest weaknesses is knowing when to not chase a frag, I would say.
So you say you get over aggressive a little bit,
I would say so, yeah.
and you commit to stuff that you probably shouldn't have, where you could live. All right.
Kind of take the clockwork approach, but I'm not at his level, so I tend to lose more.
Yeah, Clockwork's a great scout. Squid and Clockwork. Ugh, Clockwork.
Mm-hmm.
Why should we hire you? Or like, why should we put like out of everybody that's interviewing? Why should we pick you?
I have a lot of experience. I'm really dedicated. I play the game a shit ton, and I really want to get better. And I'm a solid pick, I guess, because I'll be there for every scrim. Always looking to improve. Absolutely no memeing will come out of this boy. Um, I don't know. I just love getting better at the game, and I love being dedicated to a team.
Hmm. What's your expectation for this team? What are you expecting out of the roster?
The same level of dedication that I'm putting into it. Absolutely no joking around. You know what I mean? Aside from like friendly conversation, no like,
Yeah,
oh, hey, let's run Spy to mid because they won't expect it. Ha ha ha. You know what I mean? None of that shit.
yeah. Our team doesn't do that. Our team gets mad when our roster last season did some of that, but they're not here now, so that's something to look forward to. New players. Just a side thing. You talked about Beck as your girlfriend. What
Hmm.
happens if she didn't make the team? What would you join
I
this
mean, I
roster?
didn't really expect. I didn't come into this like, oh, we'll both be on the same team. I didn't expect that. It would be nice, but it's not like that's what I need to have
So
happen.
you didn't try out with her.
Mm-mm, separate.
All right. Um, why did you leave your previous teams, or why
Because
did you
it was
leave?
my team. All my other previous teams were my team, and I left it because I couldn't find dedicated players. It was very annoying to try and schedule scrims when people wouldn't show up over and over again.
Yeah,
The lack
it's
of consistency really frustrated me, and I've decided to just give it a rest trying to lead a team because it's
yeah.
annoying.
I've done that too. Like I've decided I didn't want to play in a team because I didn't think the rosters, I didn't think people were qualified. Some people to lead a team. So I'm taking a new approach this season. Like I took a better approach, I'd say, but like there's many more stuff I could have done. Like so, I'm buying mentors. Talked about ESCA that I'm doing all divisions because and my players, trust me, you'll find that Sir and Drip are very dedicated. They want to play the game as much as possible, and they want to get better.
And what did they play?
Sir is our scout. You may have heard of him. He's pretty good. And then Droop is our runner. They have been with me since the very start of my competitive experience. So
So they've been
two.
in Steel mostly.
Yeah, they've been with me ever since Steel. Yeah, ever since my beginning of my comp experience. Me knowing nothing, they've stayed on the roster. So
Have you
very dedicated players.
have you gone past Steel before?
Yeah, we're in silver right now.
I mean, before this season.
Like, what do you mean?
Have you spent the entirety of your Sixes career in UGC Steel? Like, have you branched out at all or gone above the?
I'm branching out this season, but
Okay.
I've played other teams that haven't been steel. Like we played plat teams at a steel level, and we did just fine against those.
Okay.
So like the Ross, like as regard to DM wise, we have it. It's just keeping players dedicated and then like learning because what we talked about last season was, or we're winning our scrims, we're winning our games, but if we're not learning, there's no point. We're just out DMing everybody, and which was kind of what happened a majority of our games. So we wanted to take it up a notch, and like people were talking about ESCA Open and all this other stuff. So we decided to take a new approach at it because everybody on my roster wants to be really good.
Okay.
So we're deciding to
So,
commit
so this season you're gonna be in UGC Silver
Open,
and Open.
CFCL, and UGC Silver.
All right.
We're playing in 3 divisions,
Sounds good.
and then yeah. How do you handle stress or pressure?
I usually operate best under stress and pressure. I find my aim tends to come alive when those situations because when the situations are up, I don't know, I kind of go into autopilot mode in terms of like aiming, which is usually better because when I think about aiming, it gets messy.
No,
But
but that means that I'm more talkative because majority of people in my roster a little bit soft spoken. I talk a little bit more, but I don't want to main call because I did that last season. It wasn't the best thing, demo main calling. So I'm trying to get somebody this season that's really vocal, and I need another scout that's vocal. So
I'm in called for every single season that I've played in so far. On
so
demo or
you're a
pocket,
vocal player, yeah.
yeah, I'm a very vocal player.
All right, it's nice to know. Describe, or let's just say this. What are your goals for this team? What is the future? What do you expect?
Improvement,
Improvement.
measurable,
And
literal
you talked about
improvement.
improvement. Hold on, I'll stop you right here for a second. You talked about improvement, and like what I talked about with many other people is like, will you leave after one season? Because that's what I see what other players do. One season didn't turn out their way. They maybe went even, or they got like third place or something like that.
Well, it
Or like,
definitely it definitely depends. If this team is a complete dumpster fire and we go 2-6 in silver, yes, I would leave because that's like there's no future for a team like that. I don't care what anyone wants to say. The best that team can hope for is going forward for the next season. But if this team is not just a complete and utter piece of trash can, if there's some good dedication going on, if people are listening to advice, if people are actually like showing that they want to get better, and we get a solid record, like because I don't care how bad you are, if you're actively trying to improve and you're actively like using decent players on your roster, there's no way you're gonna go 2-6. It's just not gonna happen, especially
Yeah,
this
our
year.
roster won't go 2-6. I guarantee that. We actually we were scrimming. I think our steel season we were scrimming the fifth place silver team, and we were like tying with them. So
Oh,
like
that's good.
we definitely have like good players on this roster
Well,
for
that's
sure.
good. That's good.
Like some like young. I'm not gonna say prodigies, but like definitely some like they picked up with little time.
That's good.
And some other questions that I'm gonna bring up. You talked about experience. How many teams have you exactly been on or owned? How many teams? How many
Well,
would you
I've
in
owned
6 years?
one team, but it's been for 5 seasons.
Oh, so you've kind of done what I'm doing right now. You know, you played on your team.
Yes.
All right. What are you willing to do for me in this team?
It's a very vague question. What do you mean by that?
Like, what are you willing to like bring
I mean,
to the table?
I think I'm gonna bring a solid scout role. I'm gonna be
So,
killing things. Fucking being vocal, trying to get good plays going. Gonna bring some dedication. I'm gonna bring a no nonsense attitude to the table. I don't know. I'm not sure what more you would be expecting.
because depending on if I keep my roster or not, or the roster that I want, if I can keep my roster this season, like this upcoming season, next season, then I'm able to like pay for people. Like what I'm trying to do is like, oh, well, if I can keep my whole roster, oh, everybody's dedicated enough and everybody learns, then all right, I'm gonna next season you don't have to pay for open. You know, I'll pay for you, and like other stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I'm talking about, like dedication, and then I'll put more money into it. Like I'm putting my own money into it, which is why I was so serious in the form. And people didn't like were asking like, why do all this requirements? It's because like I'm putting my money, I'm putting my time, I'm writing all this shit, and
Okay. I have a
like,
question for you.
yeah.
So I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but you have kind of uh, I'm not sure what the word is I'm looking for. There, you have a reputation in
Yeah, I was
esports.
gonna talk about that a little
Okay.
bit, but regardless if you hate me or like me, I've obviously messed up in the past. I'm not perfect. I've done some stupid stuff when I was, young. But I think, if you look at somebody 2 years ago and you look at them now, like obviously that's a different person.
Well, that's true, but I'm not even talking about 2 years ago. Like for example, I was in the UGC Discord when that whole thing went down in the support channel about a team trying to get banned for some reason, or you trying to get a team banned for some reason. I'm not sure what that was
Well,
exactly about, but
uh, there was okay. Well, the second place plat team this season.
hmm
All right, take all those players, put them on a steel roster, and then take
I'm well aware of that
a
team.
plats on alts, and then put them on a steel roster. I don't know. Like our players weren't exactly happy. Like we felt like we worked up to there. Our DM was good, and we beat teams like Snex and other stuff. We felt like we deserved the first place spot. So it was kind of a letdown to lose to opens and plat players in a steel.
I
You know,
suppose.
so we,
Did you
we
have
kind of wanted to
did
get.
you have solid evidence that it was those plat players on alts?
We have like chat logs and photos, but like it wasn't enough because the seasons were like two separate seasons apart, so it wasn't enough to like bring the team down. We had like photos of the people saying that it was this guy on an alt, and then we had other photos, and then we had like a whole book.
All right.
Like we didn't come in with like, oh, we know he's that guy, but we can't prove it. Like we had evidence, but it didn't matter because the seasons were separate.
Okay.
But like I said before, it kind of felt like we worked hard and it kind of got robbed from us. And then those players now, Shining Star and then Mono, they played platinum grand finals this season, like, so you kind of take 2 seasons, went from steel first place to platinum grand final. So it's kind of like, oh, maybe we did get robbed a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm not going to be concerned about that. You know, it's UGC. I'm just here to meet the right people so I can take that roster and expand it to more stuff
Okay.
rather outside of UGC.
All right.
But about me, you know, I'm not the most popular guy, you know, and I've obviously, I know I'm well known. May not be for the best reason, or maybe for the best reason, because my form got pretty popular. I was surprised.
Yeah, it
I
kind of
think,
got shared around.
yeah, I spammed it in a lot of discords, or not spammed it, but I posted it like once or twice in like UGC. What was it? I think it was the biggest form that I think this year and last year. So
Uh-huh.
I mean, so biggest most views. Like I think it got 200 views in less than an hour. So that's pretty impressive.
Well, it was a pretty unique forum post.
It wasn't the best. Like I could have done more. Like, but it's kind of like if I don't want to write an article or some because nobody wants to read an article.
It's just in UGC, most teams wouldn't like give off requirements and shit like that. It's usually just like, hey, I'm making a team.
Well,
If you want to try out, go ahead.
yeah, but it's like then you get all sorts of players that don't like. And then I said before dedication, what I talked about, like you get fewer players, but you get more dedicated players. Because like if they look, oh, there's so many requirements. Obviously, this guy wants somebody who's not fucking dumb or can meet the time requirements, and you know is dedicated. You know, as opposed to me putting a form out and saying, hey, I'm looking for a scout. I could get anybody, but you know maybe he couldn't meet the time requirements. Maybe he couldn't. You know, maybe he just wasn't the level that I was looking for. You know, that's what I mean by all that stuff. That's why it's important.
I see.
I could have wrote more stuff. Yeah, I could have wrote benefits and other stuff and why I'm doing this, but like I'm not gonna write a paper. Nobody wants to read a paper. All right, we're just here to play TF2. All right, that's what it comes down
I see.
to. But just some history, my history, and just some other stuff. I'm just gonna go in a little bit of it. About the team, two big things. We post. Well, you don't have access to it because people, you know, like to join the Discord, mess around. So I have all these restrictions set up so nobody can. And there's a very few people that are allowed in here. But you can't see it. But once you have a certain role in here that I give you, main or sub or mentor or admin, you will be able to see announcements, scrims and matches, connect info, log dump, and other stuff, and given certain roles. So I post in Discord the scrim matches, days, times, and who we're playing against and what map. Announcements. I post the same thing I post on the group. The group, I use announcements on the group. So if you see something pop up from single drop when you log on the Steam, like that's important. I'm going to post that in the Discord as well. But like Discord, I'll post more usually. Like announcements usually be about interviews, mentors, all that stuff. And like I talked about before, you know, our team was winning, but we weren't learning anything, and that's something I didn't want as a team. And I felt like, you know, we needed to learn more and grow as a team. I wanted to keep a roster and say, hey, we have this roster. We learned from a lot last season. Let's keep on learning so, you know, we can get better and, you know, we can take this roster, you know, like further and then, you know, win more and get more things. But, yeah, this team's not too old. I think my first ever season, branded the game. The team was originally called no, it wasn't Astros. It was a different team. Something I think it was. I don't exactly remember the team, but it was a TF2 logo, and we went. I think first ever season. With some of the guys that I had, I went 1-4. So you know, I took a couple breaks off, and I came back. And so did my other half of my roster, and we were able to, you know, pick up some players from Highlander and other stuff, and you know, it worked out for us. Now, you know, players do you know, I guess dumb stuff, and you know, they didn't want to play for the roster anymore, or decided they would play for another roster. So we decided, all right, I need three other players, and it's kind of what I'm doing this season.
Hmm.
But like I said before, history on me. Like not a lot of people like me. Not maybe a lot of people like me. I get both. I get half and half. But I mean, you shouldn't look at that. Like if I were to like be so paranoid about what everybody thinks, then I wouldn't be getting good at the game. And you got to look at it this way. This is what I tell people. It's like the people ask me, "Hey, Townie or Townze, like, what do you do to all that hate?" And you just don't think about it. It's like the more time they're spending commenting, the better the more time you're getting better. Like the more time they're wasting, they could be getting better. You got to look at it that way. You're grinding while they're busy like posting some hate comment or whatever. Like, it's dumb.
Hmm.
Look at it that way. You're spending more time in the game while they aren't.
True enough.
But yeah, I use Discord as my only form of communication. Depending on if I do some other stuff in the future, that's if I do it. We're changing the logo next season. Not sure what day I am, but I'm going to be working with some a military artist, I believe, somewhere around, and we're going to be working on a new logo. So we're going to have a few ideas, hopefully, to show the team at the end. A majority vote with the remaining roster. And like I said before, my system, I have it set up so that my remaining roster can judge who we want. Like, I'm the only one who's going to be a part of this interview unless somebody in my roster joins and listens, but it's likely not to happen. So, like, I'm basing you off a 1 out of 10 rating. So, like, that's what I'm basing it off of. And then I'm basing off 5 boxes that I have. And I have a little sheet of paper beside me, and I'm basing off 5 boxes. And, I rate them 2 or 1. 1 was okay. 2 was, right. Or I guess good. And then, 0 was like, oh, you didn't do anything there. That really kind of, made me want to pick you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I think, and then you talked about that. Yeah, we already did. But yeah, that's how I'm doing it. Like 3 people per classes, because I remember last season we had a 40 scout tryouts. So we did some dumb shit. Like we didn't know how to handle this at the time. So we had 40 scouts in the Discord or so, or about 20 or so. So you're like, all right, how do we already have 20 people here. What do we do with 20 people? And we're like, oh, MG, this is like the dumbest idea we had, but like, we can't scrim with 20 people. And we kind of already, well, one of my teammates did it. Like, I didn't ask. It's not the point. All right. So that's kind of why we have this system now. We're going to pick out of everybody that interviews, we pick 3, and then we scrim with those 3. And whichever one we like, we pick. And we have a team vote on it. And I think that's the fairest way. And then I talk, let's say we have a tie rating. Let's say I give you an 8 out of 10 and another guy's 8 out of 10. I talk about both players, both like their experience. I talk about, what they've done. So I'm comparing you both, and it's like a majority vote.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said before, mentoring, my big thing, I want to take criticism, and I want to take it from the best. The thing about me is like I could get any plat player, random plat 6s player. That's not what I want. I want somebody who's been at the top level and like knows what they're doing. So if I can, I'm getting Nursey next season, and he's promised to. He's in our Discord. Obviously, you can't see him. Can you?
I can see him.
Yeah, he's in our Discord. He's promised to watch it, post it on YouTube. He's promised to join our Discord, and he's also promised to talk to us about what we need to do is improve as a team. And he's going to tell us what we're doing wrong. I want, and I can't have him tell us what to do right. So I'm going to hire probably Banny as a second mentor just to tell us what we need to do to fix. So like Nursey's going to tell us what we're doing wrong. And so is Banny, but we're going to have Banny be more lenient on telling us what we need to do. Because, Banny, outstanding player, always playing TF2. That's I only want the best. I think I'm not going to settle for anything less. I think that's what's going to make our roster better.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Is there anything you want to talk about,
Hmm.
and specifically
Uh, I would say not specifically. When am I gonna be getting feedback from you about my
about the interview?
score or placement? Yeah.
Depends on how many people try out. Right now, I have a few plats that are trying out, like Pacific people that I'm looking at. I'm aiming towards one or two people, not in your category, but like it's hard finding a pocket that can speak physically. So maybe 2 weeks or about a week. If I do it earlier, I will message you on Steam.
Okay.
But yes, I'm probably gonna have done.
All right.
And since we have half of a roster, most likely we're probably gonna have you and other tryouts together, just to kind of see how we work as a team. You get what I mean?
Uh huh.
Rather than some random ringer that I get, which I think would be better. And everybody in here is, I guess, let's just trustworthy enough. I guess I'd say that.
Okay.
It's all about trust, I guess, at the end of the day.
So, all right.
Yeah, I post in the group. If you want to check this out, I have it in general. Single drop, great name. I was one of the best names that I've thought of. I think, or a friend of mine's has thought of.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And changing the logo, and then hold on, I think I have a post. Oh yeah, logo, and then ESCA, and then spreading the form, and then this is okay. Yeah, I have like a whole list. All right, anything else? Oh, I'm gonna ask you some weirder questions. I forgot to ask towards the end. These are a little bit weirder. So if I
Shoot.
ask you something that's like odd, just kind of bear with it, I guess.
Okay.
Um, how many or what's your legacy? I guess. What do you want to be known for in TF2 in the future?
Um, like, of course, up there with Danny, Clockwork, all them, Aim God, you know,
So
Empire.
you would say you want to be dedicated enough to get there. That's your goal in TF2.
It is indeed.
Mm, same as me. All right. What's your take on selling out? Like, if I were to market the team in a way,
Money is
would you be
good.
like,
If we're still playing and dedicated, I don't give a shit if we're getting money for it.
all right? And another thing, if I were to make the new logo and I were to make everybody like, would you wear it as your profile pic, or would you do it on scrims and days that I have it required?
I'd do it on scrims and shit, but I wouldn't make it my profile picture. I don't think that really does
Okay.
anything for the team.
Yeah, I was just talking to people about it, and my team was like, no, nobody in my roster wanted to do it. So
Yeah,
I'm having it on days when we have officials.
it would be kind of cringy for UGC
It would
series.
be a little bit cringy, but I've done weird stuff like that.
I,
It
I
looks nice.
also I also wouldn't expect you to require me to put anything in my name during non-scrim days.
Um, only towards if we make it to finals, then you have to put the little tag in. But other than that, you don't not requiring you to do that.
Okay.
Put tag in single drop or have it like permanently.
Okay.
But if we do officials, then I might have the lag in. I'm thinking about that. I'll do a vote on that later,
Okay.
but mm, probably not going to happen. So I think that's all the questions I have. Is there any questions you want to ask me? Like I said before.
Uh, no, I think I'm good.
Mm. How'd you hear about this form?
Someone said it to me on the UGC meme Discord to laugh at.
Mm. Oh, it's that shit. Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I was like, oh
Why
shit,
do you?
I'm kind of looking for an open team. I don't know. Let's see what this is about.
Yeah. So you looked at the meme form like, all right, this doesn't look that bad.
Well, it was sent to me as a meme, I thought it was pretty funny because it's like the most like over thorough forum post in like the history of the UGC forum. But I read it and I was like, well, I don't know. I've kind of been looking for some dedication. It would be kind of refreshing. And an open team is something that I've been looking to find, looking to get into. Um, so I actually am, might as well try it out. We'll see where it goes.
Mm-hmm. All right.
That's how most people are probably going to be hearing about this, by the way. Just to inform you.
It's fine. I don't really care. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
I mean, in the end, of course, it doesn't matter if you're getting players that actually want to play for you. Who cares how it happens?
Yep. That's all you gotta look for. All you gotta look for is the right people. The only problem is I need to get more info on ESCA. I would say because I can do the TFCL, I can do ESCA, like I can set all, I know how to do all that stuff. I know how to post. I know how to ask staff. I know how to post scores. ESCA, this is gonna be interesting. I think it's a challenge. I'll figure it out.
By the way, with the whole Vec thing, if you did agree to have Vec on the team, that would be pretty much a sealed deal for me to agree to be on this team. If we're both on an open team, that would be really great. But it's if she's not, it's not a deal breaker. But I'm just saying that if we were both on if she was agreed to be on the team, that would be pretty much like a 100%. If you do want me on the team, then I'd totally just sign up for this team right away. But I just figured I'd put that out there. It's
All
not a
right.
deal breaker, but it is a very good
Because
incentivizer.
like the other medics that I've tried out, like hold on, I'm just supposed to name one name that I have. I have MXR this yesterday that played on. There we go. You heard of that team?
That team that died.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, we scrimmed them a lot in silver. They were pretty toxic.
yeah, but he seemed like pretty soft spoken. I think, he was kind of there when the other medic wasn't. So you get to play a lot, plays a lot of pug champ. I get people like that who wanted to play in this roster. Like I'm keeping my mind open. I have to interview Beck in a couple minutes.
Yep, she's ready for it.
All right. But yeah, thanks for the interview. Benefits will come in the ending of all this, so I'll get back to you. I
Okay,
have you on a piece of paper along with the other people that I'm interviewing.
sounds good.
Or so yeah.
All right, I look forward to your response.
All right. See you.
See you later.
Bye.